Hi everyone, welcome back to another Reddit cheating story. Before we start, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell if you love to watch more cheating stories. BF cheated on me. Worst part is the girl got pregnant. My BF, 26M, of 3 years cheated on me, 28F, and he tried to hide it over and over despite me having proof and confronting him about it. Actually, he was the one who initiated breaking up, but he told me a different reason, and up to this day he could not face me and own up to how he ended up cheating and got the bitch pregnant in the process. I never thought I would be cheated on, and this guy had been cheated on badly by his ex-GF before me. At the end of it all, I saw him for what he really is: manipulative in his ways, a pathologic liar, a toxic narcissist, and an immature scum of the earth, who will never be satisfied. First, let me tell you about how our relationship was from the get-go. I met him at a time that he was sleeping around and not taking girls seriously, i.e. fuck buddies, flings, FWBs. He did this for about 2 years as a way to cope with his breakup from his ex of 3 years, who cheated on him. His life crashed, he flunked his classes, on his 4th year of mechanical engineering, but got removed from his program, and didn't tell his family that he had to transfer to another degree program up until he graduated. He looked at himself as a lost cause. And then we met in 2017. I was a newly licensed medical doctor at that time, trying to meet people, to widen my circle. We started dating, and he became honest about his past with fuck buddies and how he was a player though he never cheated. He was usually always in it for the thrill and the ego-boosting effect of being a serial dater, likening himself to be Barney Stinson of Him. I, on the other hand, didn't have much of a remarkable dating history, where I've only been in almost relationships and one committed relationship before him. I wasn't the type to sleep around too. I just wanted to meet people and try my hand at dating again then, after being in an almost relationship. So I was new territory for him. We hit it off, and he stopped having fuck buddies about a month after he met me. He poured himself onto me, declared that he wanted to deserve me, to be better for me, and that he realized that it's time for him to stop being player because he was falling for me then. And I saw that and truly felt that he did. His family saw the changes in him, too. And bugged him to let them meet me, as they wanted to meet the one who made him change his ways. They were intrigued too, with me being a doctor. My BF at that time was still finishing up his last 2 years of college, 7th year in college. 5 months into the time that we were dating, his mom had kidney failure and suddenly died. He was devastated, and for some reason his mom's dying words included me. She told him to court me properly, to finally commit to me, and that she wanted me to be the girl for him. She wanted him to get his shit together and be a good man for me. His mother didn't get to meet me, but as she heard stories about me from him, I guess she became enamored by me. I took her words seriously when my BF told me about it, and from then I stepped up further to be by his side no matter what. I met his whole family for the first time at the wake of his mother, and I felt sorry that I had to meet them at a time that they were devastated, though at the same time they were thrilled to have finally met me. By some twist of fate, our families were actually family friends from the past, and we only knew then our families further got to know each other. My BF and I felt our union was truly fated, and his family became close to me from then on. His grandfather even swore at his mother's burial that he can never cheat on me and whatnot, because it would be a disgrace to his mother's memory. Few months after his mother's death, he spiraled into depression, saying he wanted to give up. There were times that he was clingy with me, and wanted me to be around him all the time, and then there were times that he tried to push me away, didn't talk to me for days, and at one point tried to end things with me because he felt too depressed. I tried my best to be with him as much as I could, watched him play basketball after my clinic and hospital duties, went on day trips with him and his family to help him cope with the pain, stayed late at his house on some nights to sleep with him and spend time with him. His love language too, I knew, was receiving gifts and acts of service. So I gave him random gifts every now and then to cheer him up. We got through his phase of depression, even though I admit it was emotionally challenging and felt toxic for me at that time to be treated by him like that. His family also convinced me to stay, and that him losing me might make him bury himself deeper into depression without him knowing it. We were happier, our relationship got stronger after that. Around a year of being together that way, we finally decided to make our relationship official in front of family and friends. This happened on my birthday. Oops, red flag there. Don't have your relationship anniversary on either of your birthdays because trauma might tag along. His family was more than thrilled and my family was too. because they knew how long I haven't been in a relationship then, and we were both happily in love. Fast forward to our years together, we had maybe once a month fights, but nothing that lasted for days. He was toxic when he was mad. I became a punching bag for his words, albeit they were hurtful. I had the tendency to be passive-aggressive, but I always made it a point to avoid hurtful words against him. There were times that he said I was boring, or that I was too serious, while he on the other hand was playful or had the tendency to attack other people's characters. I always spoke my mind, and sometimes it hits his nerves. By the end of our fights, we would both be sorry, and he would always take back what he said, and that he was just angry. That's why he would say hurtful words to me sometimes. I felt verbally abused when we fight, and I tried to convince myself that he really didn't mean them, and that he was only driven by emotion. When I look back at those moments, it is indeed true that a partner's respect for you shouldn't go away when the two of you are arguing or fighting. To add to that, my love language was words of affirmation, so his hurtful words really stung. I was scarred, and those scars got healed because I willed myself to heal through time and tried to focus on the times I felt that he loved me. It's a good thing that we didn't become physical when we fight through the years that we were together. But him being hurtful during our fights was a red flag, of him being manipulative, a gaslighting narcissist. I accepted that side of him, and eventually I was able to handle our fights with less impact, though I still felt crying every time we fought. He was always the one to offer that we break up when the fight gets too intense, but when the emotion dies down we both apologize and make up and we get back to our good days. I assumed our love was stronger every time we got through fights. He showed his love for me by doing errands for me and with me, cooked for me when I stay over at his house, took care of me when I was sick or just tired. He did all of this in front of his family, and in his own words, treated me as if I was his wife already. His family regarded me as his wife already too, thinking I finally was the one for him all this time, after all of his fucking around. He didn't have a job yet, as he was focused on finishing his last year of college. Career-wise, yes, I was ahead of him and there were times that I had to spend more for the both of us and he was aware of this too. His family and friends told him he was lucky to have me, and that he hit the jackpot, a loving girlfriend with financial and mental stability, and being a doctor is always a blessing. I focused on the so-called 80-20 rule most of the time, and it didn't help that his love language was receiving gifts. I admit that there were times that I spent more on him than I usually spent on myself, but his happiness for me was worth it every time. Little did I know that this too was a red flag and would be a foundation for abuse. I loved the way he cared for me, and with what little money he did have, he did shower me with gifts too, even though I rarely ask him to buy me stuff, because I tend to buy things on my own instead. He even bought me a stethoscope and some other luxury items. We shared trinkets and charms, matching St. Jude pendants we had blessed at his mother's funeral. He gave me a promise ring, too. We wrote love letters for each other, lots of them. He went on surprise visits when I would be on hospital duty. We were each other's first thoughts in everything that we did. Or so I thought. Our relationship continued to flourish emotionally, and the sex was great too. Sex was great to the point that if I were to end up pregnant with him, both of our families greatly looked forward to it. However, we decided to be on the safe side, and I put myself on birth control consistently, so that we would be safe every time, with or without a condom. Disclaimer: during his life as a fuckboy, he did practice safe sex. He dreamed of having a baby with me though, and he told me himself that if it were to come despite us being careful, he would be more than happy to have that life with me. I looked forward to having a baby with him too, but I knew he still had other dreams, to finish his double degree and to be able to focus on building his career as a soon-to-be engineer, and that was the reason that we decided to be careful, but at the same time we enjoyed sex. Fast forward to early this year around January, so by this time we've been together for 2+ years. I randomly viewed his Instagram profile and see a picture with him tagged. I saw him sitting with a girl and her family, in a sort of romantic cutesy pose. I was shocked and tried to search the girl's profile, which was on private. He wasn't replying to my messages at that time because he was at a basketball game. I tried to contact his sister if they knew who the girl was, and she was shocked too and didn't know the girl. She advised me to talk it out with him and confront him. I confronted him about it calmly, and I asked who the girl was. He denied having any relationship with her, and that he was just invited by his friend to pose with her because she didn't have a partner. that they were just friends. He was sorry and I forgave him. But at the same time, I reminded him that in the presence of other people he should act like he has a girlfriend, even if he doesn't know a picture of him will be posted for people to see. And that if he cheats on me, I would leave him then and there. And he reassured me over and over. His sister talked to him after that, and he reassured his family too that he wouldn't do that to me, because in his own words, I loved him at his lowest point and that he loved me so much. I gave him the benefit of the doubt too because I knew that he knew the feeling of being cheated on, with what his ex-GF did to him. And I emphasized that to him too, so as to set my boundaries further. But I never forgot the girl's name and I kept tabs on her afterwards. Our relationship went on normally after that. There were times that I tried to search the girl through Facebook but I couldn't find her, maybe because of privacy settings or so I thought. One day in June, I don't know what cosmic power drove me to look at my privacy settings and my list of blocked people on Facebook. And lo and behold, I saw the girl's name on my blocked list. I unblocked her and saw her Facebook profile, and saw my BF liking some of her posts and photos. There were no provocative photos, and some interactions looked friendly, not flirty, so I assumed they were really just friends. But what threw me off was I don't remember blocking her. How could I block her if technically I didn't know her? I just happened to keep tabs on her after my suspicion back in January. Again, I confronted my BF about it. I told him how I wondered why the girl ended up on my block list, and that it felt weird to me and looked like a glitch of some sort. He became defensive and turned the tables on me that it looks like I don't trust him anymore despite him denying their connection. I took his word for it and we left it at that, with us sealing our argument with "I love you" over and over. Looking back, my BF, who I didn't think to be that kind of a manipulative dick, may have slipped into my phone and put her on my blocked list himself. And up to this day, he hadn't owned up to it. Other people only helped me realize that he might have. Watch next video for part 2. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell.